online, I think. The internet is being really fucking weird today. If I can get a little bit of confirmation that you guys are getting my transmissions, then I'll start the music again. I don't know, or I'll just start the music anyway. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
This revolution will be telepathic. This revolution will be telepathic.
Hey, there we go.
This revolution will be telepathic.
Alright, let's just pretend like that didn't happen and starts fucking destroying shit again. Let's go. Although I'm gonna have to speed the tempo up though, because if I keep playing dubstep, I'm gonna fall asleep and it's fucking noon.
Waffle Crew is coming out next, so...
Yeah, whatever server powers stream avatars is down too, because I can't even get stream avatars to come on.
Waffle Crew.
I mean, honestly, a lot of times when something like this is happening, I figure that it's like a really big worm that's very successful because it's clogging up so much of the internet's traffic because it's just infecting millions upon billions of fucking computers, and all that network traffic is just gonna fuck everything up. So usually when there's like a across the internet situation like this, yeah. Somebody's now got a DDoS bot with like 1 billion computers and they're just fucking shit up. Yeah, I played a song at the very beginning of this set when I don't think anybody was here but me. I want to play it again because it's really good. Check this out.
This is how to make a bassline song. Pretty easy. To start with, you're gonna want to get a, right? Yeah. So once you've got your, okay, you're gonna want to arrange it into like a 4/4 pattern. So it happens every time. So like, cool. Constant ones of those, just going right. Let it run. Then you're gonna need a, but not every time. You want it every other time. So like,
big worm,
like that.
big perm.
Let's roll. Let's build up. Then you want a, yeah, building. Sounded cool. You can add a little as well. Percussion thing. It's in every fucking bassline song. This percussion thing. Let's build. We're building, and now take away the. Okay. So now it's like the drop, right? You can put in a little riser, and then cut everything. And now it's like, fuck. Something's definitely about to happen. Okay, and then you bring in the... And it's like, this is cool, pause. But this isn't even like the full thing, right? Because you've got this going, but then you bring in a... Now you're really rolling. Really rolling. Like, pause. Keep going. This is the drop. And then usually after the initial drop section thing, it will sort of you take that drop and just like turn it up a bit, so just make the basses go a bit more like, and then it's like super hype. It's like second drop, it's like 2 drops in a pause, 2 drops in a drop, and then same trick as last time, just bring in these motherfuckers back in. Always makes everything sound better. Everyone's going crazy now. And that's it basically. You can do more, but also, you don't have to. Yeah, and then just do outro, which in this case is sort of what this is. And then
You got knocked the fuck out! You got knocked the fuck out, man! What's up, big worm? You got knocked the fuck out!
Oh, did I get the right? Shit, I gotta make sure you guys get the right audio.
You smoking my shit? Hell no! And you know this, man!
Such a massive dose would cause heart arrest and death.
Chat to the kid, no sparks, nah, they ain't a match to the kid. I'm on a big man thing, they acting a hit. I'm the father, I'll give slaps to a kid. You act bad when I put them on, I made them shine like I gave my chaps to a hit. You just turned bad, I've been bad from a kid. In school with a compass, dropped up a head. Man talk, grease, bare gun talk. Shut up, man can't chat till I done talk. Shut up, they wanna act all big and brave till they get a punch in the face and told. Shut up, man talk, grease, bare gun talk. Shut up, man can't chat till I done talk. Shut up, they wanna act all big and brave till they get a punch in the face and dropped up a head. Man talk, grease, bare gun talk.
Right about now, everybody is in the place. Right about now, everybody is in the place. Everybody is in the place. There is no place where they don't place and they don't voice when the soul plays. They don't be a bone face, some fake makes and a rape. Tell them it's fake, some fake gate when they come through. They fake some place where they don't face and they don't waste when the soul plays. They don't be a bone face, some fake makes and a rape. Tell them it's fake, some fake gate when they come through. They fake some place where they don't face and they don't waste when the soul plays. They don't be a bone face, some fake makes and a rape. Tell them it's fake, some fake gate when they come through. They fake some place where they don't face and they don't waste when the soul plays. They don't be a bone face, some fake makes and a rape. Tell them it's fake.
No complain about shit and don't do anything to change behaving like this. I stay calm, it is what it is. I'm not really phased. I'm gonna die with a smile on my face, and I'm gonna eat without saying grace. I don't want the gates to hold my name, cause I wanna be free and move out my own pace. I despise lies, so don't you lie about my tribe and my lines. Man come through with Poseidon's trident, firing violent sirens crying. Why did he do that? How did he do that? Watch the whole troop divide. I'm on the fruit to fly, or the flowers in the aisles, but they're not the squint in my eye. Right, you can, but I'm sure you can. What book got hooked for all who beg? Better with the peddling, but gotta pay the rent, so I'm peddling again, see me peddling again. Tell the nigga dead, better get up in the net, little lean to get in, live by everything I said. Cradle to the grave, cop to the death, shots to the head.
It's so place when they pump bass and they don't voice, but the song taste takes over your phone face. Some big mates in the rape that I make say some fake when they come through they fake. Some place when they pump bass and they don't voice, but the song taste takes over your phone face. Some big mates in the rape that I make say.
Bagaman, Lord boy bread and I can't get Zulu don't buy your whole bagaman, tell a man. Don't get fire around, get it close, get back, will he see, never land if he does. Did he really ever stand a time, don't believe, see. SKP, roll out on the orangutan. I'm a disco, I love a dance. Look at my flow, I pay no mind if I don't drop a glass on the can so much. One thing that's what it's on, that's one of them that they get on. From my book, all next time for a time, just my 3 days scene of the character I got. Julian, I feel power in my hand, those things, I'll make him carry the load. You see how old I'm going to find. Get my money with the class, our face solid with the clap, up with flash, one on the ground, let's sit, if it needs help, following the brand. Oh, bag of man, can't grab a hand, don't have a dance up.
Come on.
tell you what. I'm really tired. I'm really tired of my camera not working. I'm about to uninstall and reinstall my XSplit because it's pissing me off. Oh, there we go, finally. Hey, what's going on, y'all? It has been pissing me off for the last couple of days. Oh, hold on, wrong button. Oh, these are just some jank ass headphones. Normally, I have a really nice pair of audio techniques. Audio tech. I don't know, but these are some shitty ass fucking Amazon jobs, but they get it done. What I really like is these in-ear earbuds from China from this company called Linsoul. I can maybe link it up here. The TR3 Hi-Fi, some shit. 10 Hi-Fi. Hold on, I'll find it for you. Oh, you need over the ear? Oh, that's a bummer. Well, I tell you what, a really good call is always the Sony MDR 50s or whatever. They're like $50. Let me see if I can find them for you. Is this them? No, those are those are $2,000. Never mind, hold on. Not the right ones. Yeah, there they are. Hold on. I'm looking for the ones. Here they are. Let me get the right one. I guess this is the modern version. Hold on. If you're going for like if you're going for a decent budget, like those are nice for $40. Something around that range of the Sony MDR line.
Space and thrill, get up on the floor and get naughty.
A dragon? You say I look like a dragon? Check this out, Kyle. Look at the screen. I'm a reptilian, bruh.
Sex, space and thrill, this is how we like to party. Sex, space and thrill, get up on the floor and get naughty. Sex, space and thrill, this is how we like to party. Sex, space and thrill, get up on the floor and get naughty. Sex, space and thrill, this is how we like to party. Sex, space and thrill, get up on the floor and get naughty. Get up on the floor and get naughty.
mix music for just a little while longer, and then maybe gonna watch some UFO videos, see what's going on out there in the world. If you want to join me back. All right, just ordering my lunch. Sorry about that.
Sound
It looked like I was asleep because I was looking down at my phone. So I just looked at the camera and I was like, damn, it does look like I was. Aside from the head banging, fuck you, Kyle.
We use a doublet for the car for sound boy head. Doublet kill us not sound up in it. We use a doublet for the car for sound boy head. Doublet kill us not sound up in it. We use a doublet for the car for sound boy head. Doublet kill us not sound up in it. We use a doublet for the car for sound boy head. Doublet kill us not sound up in it.
Show up in your yard and the best DJs in the party going hard and laugh at the haters and show up in your yard and the best DJs in the party going hard and laugh at the haters and show up in your yard and the best DJs in the party going hard and laugh at the haters and show up in your yard and the best DJs in the party going hard and laugh at the haters and show up in your yard and the best DJs in the party going hard and set up your style and the flip your black chuck. Laugh at the haters that show up in your yard and the best DJs in the party going hard and laugh at the haters that show up in your yard and the best DJs in the party going hard and laugh at the haters that show up in your yard and the best DJs in the party going hard and check out your style and the flip your black chuck. Laugh at the haters that show up in your yard and the best DJs in the party going. Laugh at the haters that show up in your yard and the best DJs in the party going. Take up that one. Laugh at the haters that show up in your yard and the best DJs in the party going. Check out your style and the flip your black chuck.
them hands dance up. Everything in the ghetto done outside.
Check up that one there.
To write all my drum and bass and jungle at this speed at 180 BPM, so we can do 180. I haven't done a 180 mix in a while. This was the speed. You know how dubstep is 140 and like every track has 140? Well, jungle was 180 for like a long fucking more than a decade. I don't know why it's all pussified now, but it was always 180, man.
Check up that one there.
Hey, cool, Born. You remember that one mix I did at like 210 BPM with the Terminator song in it? That shit was crazy. I loved that. I'll show you guys. I'll show you guys how awesome it is. Hold on. I once did a mix with this song at this speed, and it's really good.
It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear, and it absolutely will not stop. Ever. Terminator. You're talking about things I haven't done yet.
One song and I'll come back to reality. I did mix this song in a nice mix at 210 BPM though, like this BPM that we're having. Very good.
The 600 series had rubber ski.
I used plasma rifle 41 range.
Terminator is out there. Terminator is out there.
Then you're from the future too, is that right?
You're talking about things that I haven't done yet.
Terminator is out there. Part man, part machine.
Are you saying it's from the future?
Terminator is out there. You're talking about things that I haven't done yet. You're talking about things I haven't done yet. Crazy.
I'm gonna take this in a very unexpected direction.
Terminator is out.
Hope you guys are ready for this shit. This is gonna blow your mind in two ways, probably.
You're talking about things I haven't done yet.
Hold on, hear me coming through your speakers. You see me mashing up your airways. I know you can't get it up on my sound. It's like hold on, hear me coming through your speakers. You see me flagging up your airways. I know you can't get it up on my sound. There's no place to hide, so stop the fight. I'm gonna get it. All this running from me, baby, you're gonna regret it. I can understand why you can't free yourself and let it go, 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 go. Got you in my palm, no listen good, you can't escape it. Bring you to my world and hold you, see if you can take it. Don't you be afraid, I know you're strong enough to make it. Go, go, go.
But you fucking knocked down next door.
this kind of drum and bass actually.
It's like gold dust. You hear me coming through your speakers. You see me rocking like gold.
Hold on, I'm gonna try something real quick.
It's like gold dust. You hear me coming through your speakers. You see me rocking up your airwaves. I know you can't get enough of my love.
Sound of the culture. Running wild in your area. Sound of the culture. We're building things up. We're ready to bust. We're ready to bust.
Yo, they're Comanche, I'm a freelance scout taker, import ounce, get a rhythm killer bounce better. Understand me, mans can get their heads severed, puffing on them bushweed and bounce like a damn feather. That it, I will switch from coasting and we dip into.
Hope you guys don't mind. You know, sometimes when I'm just chilling doing a little stream like this, it's nice to be able to experiment with mixes, and then that way when I'm actually playing like a fucking, you know, large event, like I actually have that shit worked out. So thank you for being patient with me.
See ya, believe it, area's flooded. When we come through a bump track, so massive for love it. Cause yo, it's yours. Why my knees are bumping, flex on more shows, man, shot in the raw. And since it's for the culture and the people in the streets, want the mass of them for link, come and break bread and eat the rich.
It's the sound of the culture. Comanche dropping that
Sound of the culture.
This is the sound of the future.
Running wild in your area.
This is the sound of the culture. Comanche dropping that
Sound of the culture. We're building things up. We're ready to bust. We're ready to bust.
Running wild.
That's interesting. Why does it do that?
Instrumental sounds, gotta kick when I hit. Get with the dub diamond. Here is nappy, such a make me happy. If you're new to this, when I clap me, 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 clap me.
Clap your hands to it.
That's fun.
Whoa!
be alright.
Whoa!
You just gotta keep pushing the button until you find one that's good, man. Five minutes until lunch arrives. We're gonna go into UFO mode.
This is the warm-up. We generally warm up. Sure, warm up? Yes. We're broadcasting from outer space to radio station KPFK, and the Barbara's version is reaching you.
You are normal, aren't you? I mean, you are normal, aren't you?
I don't practice what I preach, he said, because I'm not the kind of man or woman I'm preaching to.
Receive a special briefing on America's first strike strategy and get back to Earth in time for nuclear winter. Prize subject to cancellation if World War breaks out before Star Wars.
I wrote all this music you've been listening to for the past 9 minutes. It was all in one session. It was a lot of fun. Whoa, that was fun. All right, now let's do some motherfucking UFO videos and shit. You guys don't have to stay for this part if that's not something you're into that I'd like to see, because there's a bunch of crazy shit going on around the planet right now, and I just like to kind of catch up with it. We're gonna go on X and Reddit, and I'm gonna do I gotta change my stream type real quick. Just one moment. We're gonna go to just chatting so that I'm not taking up the VR chat space. Just chatting. There we go. I never used this category, but we're gonna do it today. First time for everything. Oh shit. What the fuck are those? I mean, it looked like that's too blurred out. If we can actually get a fucking camera. Yeah, it's just all kind of blurred out. Oh, there they go. Yeah, what the fuck is that? Now I wonder, is that 3 different orbs, or is that one giant fucking, weird tubular fucking craft? I don't know. That's wild though. I'm gonna put y'all's chat up on screen too with this transparent overlay for Twitch chat that I have, so I can talk to you without having to leave the page constantly. I like Ross Coulthart. He's been doing a lot of really heavy investigation lately. Let's see what he has to say here recently. Yeah, you can see him cutting the cut. You can see him cutting the feed live. Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but like if you watch the NASA feeds when they put on the ISS and they're doing little missions and shit, look, there are so many fucking UFOs around Earth right now that they cannot hide it. So when they come into screen and they float by and they're doing their shit, they just fucking it's like, signal interference, sorry, fucking shit's fucked. Sorry guys. It's like, come on, man. But not every fucking time. I'm only giving this guy a voice because, like, he is mostly on point. There's a couple things where he has shown ignorance in some ways, where he, like, kind of shot a shot and was, like, caring a little bit too much about his media reputation versus some other people that are in the sphere. But for the most part, I'm, like, 90% down with Ross Coulthart. It's only a couple-minute video, so let's just see what he has to say. Of course it is. Oh. Well, yeah. That's because I got it set up for fucking DJing right now. God damn it. Thank you. Thank you.
And I don't know anything about it, but I can tell you, so it wouldn't surprise me at all.
Hi, Megan. How are you, hun? I am good. Can you ask Ross what his thoughts are on NASA cutting the live feed from Mars when 3i Atlas went past? Everything was going well. Then they turned into a gray screen. What are they hiding?
You know, it's funny. I never believed any of the NASA conspiracy theories until very, very recently. I always thought it was nonsense that NASA cut the feed, and I now realize someone is cutting the feed because I've seen it. I've actually seen it happen. I can't comment one way or the other about the 3i Atlas feed being cut because, frankly, I just don't know if it was. I assume that there was a disruption. And look, disruptions do happen to transmissions. Obviously, it's a big thing to be able to receive or send a transmission across space. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if occasionally there are disruptions. But I'll tell you my story, which I have told before, but I was invited to tour as a VIP the Marshall Space Center when I was giving a speech at the Huntsville Scientific Coalition for the Study
Absolutely.
of UAPs 2 years
Absolutely,
ago.
they do, cool boy.
And it was a great opportunity, and I remain very grateful to the local director of NASA on location who very kindly ushered me around with the wife of another former NASA administrator, Mike Griffin. And while we were on location in the viewing room where there's a huge bank of video feeds from the space station, the International Space Station, we were looking at the feeds with the director of the Marshall Space Center talking to me with his back to those screens. And there's the control room for the receiving of signals and control of the space station to my right that we're looking at through this glass window. And as he's talking to me, Rebecca nudges me and goes, look, and there are maybe 8 or 9 egg-shaped objects moving from behind the space station, and the camera is pointed out into interstellar space. And you see these egg-shaped objects just tracking along in formation very, very slowly. And I very naively asked the director of the Marshall Space Center, excuse me, sir, are they Starlink satellites? Is somebody describing Starlink satellites? And he turns, looks at the feed, sees the objects, and then he looks through the window into the main control room, and they flick a switch, and they do it right in front of us. Transmission to the space station has been interrupted. Now, I don't know what happened. I'm not suggesting any sinister motive on the part of the director of the Marshall Space Center, but I saw it happen, and so did 2 other people, including the wife of a former NASA administrator. So it happened. And
well, I wouldn't call it sinister, but it's definitely subterfuge.
It almost seemed to be routine. And when I went back to try and look at feeds to see if I could find what I'd seen, it wasn't there. So I've seen a disruption to the feed, and it made me feel very, very uncomfortable. What I was seeing was clearly anomalous to people in the room, and I never got an explanation. The director went and he had to move on because he was committed on other tasks, but I never got an explanation for what that was, which remains profoundly interesting. As for the 3i Atlas video feed disruption, I didn't see it happen. I don't know anything about it, but I can tell you I've seen strange disruptions to the feeds, the video feeds, through NASA.
You fucking right you have. Here you go. Here you go, cool one. UK military set to get powers to shoot down drones when they come near military bases. So now we're going to start shooting these UFOs down, apparently. Whose fucking good idea is that? Like, I understand that it makes us nervous that they're over our nukes and shit, but unless they're doing something other than looking, is that really a good idea? Let me see something real quick. Oh shit. Hey, I want you to read that last paragraph that I just, or that last story that I just put in.
Absolutely. I'll read it out loud for you. Here we go. British soldiers will be granted new powers to shoot down drones threatening military bases. The plans, to be unveiled by Defence Secretary John Healey in a speech on Monday, are intended to allow troops to take faster, more decisive action. 4 British air bases used by US forces reported mystery drone sightings last year, while drones have disrupted airspace across Europe a number of times.
Mystery drone sightings. Please continue.
Absolutely. Continuing on, the new powers will only apply to military sites, but could be extended to civilian locations such as airports. Healey is set to announce the introduction of a kinetic option, first reported by the Daily Telegraph, that would enable British troops or MOD police to shoot drones posing a threat to a military site in the UK. Let me know if you want me to go on from that.
No, that's pretty good. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Happy
Hey,
to help.
you're currently live with me on Twitch. Go ahead and say hello to the people.
Hello to everyone on Twitch. Great to have you all here. I hope you're enjoying the chat so far, and feel free to hang out and see where we go from here.
So right now we just finished up like a little bit of a mix and a music mix, and we're going to go ahead and get into some UFO and alien content. Can you do a quick scan around some of the social sites and see if there's any like really significant events that have happened in the last few days? It's currently October 20th.
So, as of right now, one interesting tidbit is that the Pentagon said there's no evidence of UFOs or aliens visiting Earth. That was actually...
Of course they do. Of course they do. What else, though? What about all the drone incursions in Europe, you know, where they shut down the airports in Denmark and a couple other places in the last month? What's going on with that?
Sure thing. So just to catch you up, in the last few days, there have indeed been some notable drone incidents in Europe. Just recently, Palma de Mallorca Airport in Spain had to pause flights because of a drone sighting, and Munich Airport had similar issues with flight suspensions. In response, the EU is talking about expanding a kind of drone wall network, basically a bunch of sensors and defenses to handle drone threats more effectively. They're also gearing up plans to strengthen their defenses in general over the next few years.
So one thing I've heard about is that, you know, from the fall 2024 drones that were like very prevalent through this time of the year, you know, like October through December, it went kind of nuts. You know, the big issue was that we weren't able to, you know, see these things on radar, and, you know, they would fly up to them and they would then leave, you know, like the military and the local law enforcement couldn't do much about it. I understand that as of recently, there's a kind of a movement to utilize laser interferometers or whatever, so that we can at least use the lasers to detect the distance that these objects are and like physically locate them. Can you tell me a little more about that? Can you tell us a little more about that?
Absolutely. So what you're talking about is basically the idea of using laser-based systems, kind of like LiDAR or laser interferometers, to get a fix on these drones.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You've got it. It's a pretty interesting shift, and it shows how they're getting creative about tracking those objects more precisely. So
what has been said about it officially by like the government and or different, you know, municipalities about using these lasers? Can you give me some source? Like, I don't need the sources, but can you source up a couple stories and give us a little bit of a TLDR?
Sure. So in a nutshell, a few governments have indeed gone on record about using laser systems for drone detection and defense. For instance, South Korea has started rolling out a laser weapon that can handle drones a couple of kilometers away, and the UK tested a high-power laser called Dragonfire earlier this year.
I'm familiar with the lasers where they're like using them to actually like burn holes in the wings and the different flying, you know, mechanism, like the different like lift mechanisms. But I'm talking about the specifically the ones that you and I were just speaking of, where they just want to find out like where these objects are in the sky. What's some official reporting on that?
Absolutely. I get what you mean. So officially, a lot of the reporting around the non-destructive laser systems, basically the ones used just for tracking and ranging, comes down to them being a kind of next-gen radar substitute. The idea is that these lasers can detect the exact altitude and position of drones more accurately than conventional radars, especially when the drones are small or made of materials that are hard to pick up on radar. A few defense industry reports and local authorities have said they're testing these systems to get a clearer picture of where unauthorized drones are flying. It's kind of an evolving area, but the official line is that it's about enhancing situational awareness rather than shooting anything down.
Well, yeah, obviously they're not going to say, hey, we're putting up lasers to figure out what the fuck these UFOs are and where they're at. I get that. But please don't respond with a long response. Just say, okay, and we'll talk later.
Okay, we'll talk later.
No, the we'll talk later was my part, but thanks. I guess I wasn't clear there. I hear you, Coolborn. I understand immigration's a pretty serious issue. Different kind of aliens.
Within 5 degrees, the planets orbit.
This is Dr. Avi Loeb. He is a Harvard astrophysicist emeritus and a very well respected individual that's put out, I think, nearly 700 papers in his lifetime. He's super intelligent. He is a little bit derided in the scientific community because they don't like the fact that he's pointing out the anomalies with 3i Atlas and a lot of the shit going on, and everybody wants to act like ostriches with their head in the sand, you know. And he's the one out here saying, no, everybody look. So, you know, obviously they're trying to discredit him constantly, but he is legitimately a Harvard astrophysicist with an impeccable fucking scientific record. And he's trying to let everybody know what's going on with 3i Atlas. And, you know, because the media is a fucking arm of the government with propaganda, you're really not getting it from those places. So I imagine that this is an interview on Ross Coulthart's network that we were just watching a minute ago. But yeah, let's check this out. This one's a little bit lengthier, so if it gets boring and it tracks into a place where it's not that great, okay. But this is the newest update from the man who knows the most, and we really want to find out. We really want to get our 3i Atlas up to date, and then we can move on.
The sun to within 5 degrees, and you know that coincidence is 1 in 500. Okay, for it to lie exactly in the plane, it means that along its path, it can come very close to several planets. In fact, it comes very close to Mars, Venus, and Jupiter. And it wouldn't be able to do that if it came at an angle. And moreover, it arrives closest to the sun when the Earth is on the opposite side of the sun. So we won't be able to observe it. And that's the best point to make a maneuver using the sun's gravity. Moreover, it came from a direction in the sky that is full of stars. It's the direction of the center of the Milky Way galaxy. And so I was a co-author of a paper that said, is 3i Atlas...
I've always thought that if there is a galactic community, which there is, then it's going to be there. It's going to be all over the place, but there's definitely going to be some kind of like galactic council of the most, you know, capable species and whatnot, representing on some planet that functions as where all the ambassadors go. And where would you think that would be located? Would it be on the outside of the rim of the galaxy where it's far away from everything, or would it be in the middle of the galaxy where it can easily get to all places? You know?
Alien technology. And of course, you know, if it is alien technology, you can't do the calculation of the mass in rocks in interstellar space because this object is targeting the inner solar system. And, you know, it will pass closest to the sun on October 29th, 2025. I got a text message the other day from someone who said that he is trading options on the volatility of the market with an expiration date of October 29th in order to make money. And I immediately thought, I don't know if there will be meaning to money if this object turns out to be technological after October 29th. If you want to take a vacation, take it before that date. Because who knows what will happen. Now, it could be a mothership that releases mini probes, you know. That
I like what he just said. Did you guys hear what the fuck he just said? He said, I don't know if money, what was it? He said, I don't even, I don't even know if money will matter.
October 29th. If you want to take a vacation, take it before that date, because who knows what will happen. Now, it could be a mothership if this object turns out to be technological after October 29th. If you want to take, if there will be meaning to money, if this object...
I don't know if there will be meaning to money after October 29th. And I get what he's saying. Like, think about this. You know, right now we operate in this kind of pseudo-capitalistic society where we have money and we trade for, you know, we do whatever we do to get our money with our energy, and then we trade it to other people to get things. And that system, like, barely works right now. You know, it's barely hanging on with the fake money that we have. But as soon as we know that some shit is really going down, whether it's aliens or, you know, World War III really starts popping off, or fucking zombies or pandemic or whatever the fuck, when shit really starts popping off, do you really think that motherfuckers are going to give a fuck about money? Like, gold's not even going to matter. If you need something that you can, you know, that doesn't rust and is malleable and can conduct electricity, great. But if my family's got food and you got rocks, who's got the more valuable thing? Like, fuck your rocks. Like, money doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anyway, but we're in this pseudo-capitalistic, greedy fucking society. But yeah, when shit starts to go down, if shit starts to go down, this is not like fear-mongering anything. I'm just trying to be informative. If shit starts to go down, you need to think that, you know, you're not going to be able to fucking cruise on down to the grocery store and get your motherfucking cans or whatever and get some water and shit. So, you know, it might behoove, like, I know that none of us are doing great. Like, I'm not wealthy. I'm barely hanging on. But it might be useful to take a couple of those dollars that we would normally spend on some bud or this or that, and get like a couple 2 or 3 24 packs of water in your house. Get some canned food, some things that'll last for a little while. Not just because the aliens might be fucking announcing their presence here soon, but it's really just good to have like about a week or two's backup just in case everything goes to shit and you're not living day to day. You know, if you know, I know that none of us are doing great financially, but if you can afford to just get like a week or two's worth of supplies, I would highly suggest it, because things can get squirrely here.
Object turns out to be technological after October 29th. If you want to take a vacation, take it before that date, because who knows what will happen. Now, it could be a mothership that releases mini probes, you know, that they come to Earth. The Galileo project that I'm leading is looking for unidentified anomalous phenomena, and we have now 3 observatories, and we will check if after October there is more activity. You know, that would be interesting to check. But as of now, you know, people, astronomers, what you will hear is the sort of the party claim that this is a comet. Now, a comet, by the way, just like a zebra is identified by its stripes, right? That's what I mean. How do you tell the difference between a horse and a zebra? It's the stripe. Okay, so how do you tell a comet from a rock that doesn't have any eyes? You tell it by the cometary tail. Okay, that's what distinguishes a comet. And in this case, just yesterday, there was the first analysis of the image from the Hubble Space Telescope of this object. And guess what? There is no tail. But more importantly,
not only is there
glow.
Not only is there not a tail, it is self-illuminating, and there's a tail in front of it pointing towards the sun where the solar wind is coming at it. Which to me, I'm just going to be straight with y'all. Like, to me, the only way that would be happening is if this thing has an engine that it is literally pointing in the direction that it's going so it can slow down. Because there's no other fucking physics way that a inert rock could be projecting a tail forward 10 times longer than the object towards the sun. Like, can we all just start to come to our fucking senses for a second? Like, is anybody seeing what's happening here? They're telling us it's a comet and it's got a tail pointed towards the sun. How?
In front of the object instead of behind it.
It's got headlights. It's got headlights. You're not celebrating Halloween this year. That's the take-home message.
Just as an English to English translation, if I'm summarizing, there is
a large rock that most scientists think is a comet that is bigger than the size of Manhattan, hurling towards space or hurling through space, potentially towards the Earth, that you believe may be alien technology, potentially a mothership that does not have any of the signs of a comet, but has headlights potentially or a glow in front of it. And it's scheduled to arrive potentially on Earth on October
No,
29th?
no, it'll be no. See, everybody, I see. This is why I understand that why it's confusing for people, because they're trying to take in all this information, and it's kind of like really existential, but also kind of like bearing down on us, and it's easy to get confused. So let me pull up. I'm going to do a little diagram real quick, even though there's a billion of them out there. I feel like, I'm presenting right now, so it's my responsibility. Let me pull up Paint here for a second. Okay. And also, let me just bring this to the front so that it's not behind everything else. And get that filter off of it, I guess. All right. So, first things first, it's space. Oops. First things first, it's space. In our solar system, we got the sun. And currently, Earth, like on a kind of like on a relative thing, like Earth, you know what? I guess we can do like a light blue for the outside, for our atmosphere. So Earth is like over here, and this is not to scale, okay? So Earth is kind of over here right now. We're the third planet. We got like fucking Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, and so on. But they're not lined up like that right now. So let me just remove those. Now, it just passed by Mars. Okay, so here's the thing about 3i Atlas. 3i Atlas is, well, I guess I'm going to take this slow here. So Mars is like here right now compared to us and the sun. Jupiter is kind of over here. Well, it's actually over here, but it'll be moving that way. This way. This way. 3i Atlas is coming in from here. So it just, the whole deal is these things all live on kind of an ecliptic. So we're looking at it from the top down in this kind of view. But if we were looking at it from the side, if we're looking at it from the side view, Earth is like, so if we were here like on 3D, if this is the middle of Earth, Earth is here, Mars, and let me make a box, I guess. So I can represent the 3D-ness of this particular kind of thing. So you can kind of see what's happening here. All right. So Earth is over here. Mars is kind of like on the other side. Mars is on the other side. Oop, we need the circle again, sorry. Mars is on the other side, like over here. And Jupiter is kind of like over here. Oops. It's kind of over here from like if we were looking at it at the side. And these all exist in like an ecliptic. Like, oh shit, I need to not fill. I need maybe, what will we use? Gray. So why is it doing it? Wrong one. And a little thinner, please. So there's like an ecliptic that all the planets like rotate on, right? Where we're all kind of in a phase. I wish I could shift this, a little bit like this so you can see, but like we're all in like we have like almost all the planets are in this ecliptic plane. So, an object that's coming from outside of our solar system could come from any direction. It could come. Let me get thick again here. It could come from this way. 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 It could come from like any way, right? But part of what's fucked up about this whole situation with 3i Atlas is it's on the ecliptic plane. It's coming and it's on the same plane as all of our planets, which is already fucking random as shit because it could be any of the other billion fucking directions you could go, but no, it happens to be on the ecliptic. Not only that, it's like opposite of the direction they're all going because remember, Mars is heading this way, Jupiter's heading this way, Earth is heading this way, and so it just passed behind Mars by only like one astronomical unit or less, not even that, like a couple million miles or some shit. It wasn't very far away, so it probably definitely dropped some shit off on Mars, to be honest. And now it's going to be supposedly heading to Jupiter. But what he was trying to say, that question that this guy was just the question that this guy was just on about. Let me see if that. Yeah, that guy back there. I don't know why this is all stuck in the middle of the screen. The question that he was just on about is, is it like heading to Earth and this and that? Well, not yet. Not yet. But what is happening is that when 3i Atlas... Oh, shit. Whoops. Can I redo, motherfuckers? Can I redo? I can't. I don't know where anyway, as 3i Atlas passed Mars, we were getting a good look at it, like all through this region here and maybe up to about here. But here's the problem: the Hubble Space Telescope, the James Webb Space Telescope, which are out in Lagrangian points and shit around Earth and the Moon, they can't look anywhere near the sun. There is a exclusion zone. What color haven't we used? There is an exclusion zone from these satellites like this. Well, actually, it's a little bit more exaggerated than that even. It's like this. They can't look anywhere in those regions because the light from the sun would burn up all their shit. Like there's even shields in front of it, in front of the stuff, so that if there is too much of bright light, it doesn't fuck up all the shit. So now they can't look at it, but they saw it as it was approaching behind Mars and like a little bit in front of Mars, and now it's in the exclusion zone. But we have other objects out here like the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter and other things that can easily get a nice look. You have other shit that can get a nice look over here. And they got that, but they haven't released that shit. Some people released some shit from the rovers that were on Mars where it's just like a little ball or whatever. We weren't really able to see. It did look like a giant fucking tube, to be honest. But anyway, now what Avi Loeb was just telling him is that as 3i Atlas makes its closest approach to the sun, where it's going to be like the closest to the sun, it will be directly fucking parallel to Earth, where we can't see it right here. We can't see through the sun. This whole area right here is the only area that we can't see in the fucking, neighborhood. And that just happens to be where it's going to be closest to the sun, which is where it would be pulling off some adjustment maneuvers if it was going to then change its course to meet up with Earth over here, which makes sense because, as I told you, everybody's in the ecliptic plane. We're all heading in our direction. Earth is heading over here. And if 3i Atlas is indeed a big ass fucking 15 to 25 mile wide fucking mothership, and it just so happens to be getting, doing its approach to the sun on the opposite side of where the Earth can't see so that it can do its adjustment maneuver, and then it heads this way, that would make sense. And I'm just correcting that guy. You're about to hear the same thing from Avi Loeb in a little bit more of a technical manner, but hopefully this crazy paint project helps you visualize some of what was just being discussed. So.
Is that accurate?
Not to Earth, but to get closest to the sun along its path.
But Avi, it's going to appear when we can't see it, which would be the best time for it to make a sneaky maneuver.
Yes, exactly. I mean, you can argue like my colleagues do and say, the trajectory, it's just a random trajectory that happens to be fine-tuned and so perfectly aligned with all these planets. And, it's a coincidence that it happened to come closest to the sun when we can't see it.
That's bullshit.
And it's a coincidence that it passes near all these other planets. By the way, even if you take this trajectory and just arrange for a random arrival time, you get 1 in 20,000 chance of it coming as close as it does to Jupiter, Mars, and Venus. It just fine-tuned in the sense that it also comes closest to those planets. Those planets are moving around the sun, in a circle, each of them. And
yeah, like not only is it in the ecliptic plane, but as those planets are traveling around our solar system, it is getting super close to each of those, even just on its present course, let alone if it changes it, which we have evidence that it's been changing and pulsing at a particular rate and adjusting its path here recently in the last week or so.
And they get to the point where 3i Atlas is just when it arrives there. Like, how can that happen?
Maybe you're crazy. Maybe they're just going to say, Avi's crazy. But is this sort of the way we have to think? Meaning, if you're going to open up the possibility that there's extraterrestrial life, it's got 1 million or billion years of head start on us, you have to open your mind to the possibility of what if. And so every time you see something that we can't yet explain or we can't yet measure, we get to open our minds and say, what if? What are the possibilities? What's the clinical, scientific, quantifiable way to examine it rather than just dismiss it?
Yeah, or assume that it's the same as we have seen before, because that's the usual approach of scientists, of anyone. And my point is that, in fact, I suggested establishing a new scale between 0 and 10, which is now called the Loeb scale, because I suggested it a month ago, and there was actually a paper yesterday that I co-authored about it. And the idea is 0 would be an object that definitely shows a cometary tail, okay, or looks like an asteroid, has all the characteristics that we are familiar with,
it'd be low, it'd be like
or
1.
an icy rock. That's
it'd be like
0.
a 1. Yeah, 0.
And
yeah.
10 would be an object that
it's
is
an
definitely
obvious fucking
technological,
UFO. Yeah,
because it maneuvers, or has some artificial lights, or has some unusual shape, or transmits signals, something, or has releases much more heat than you expect from the solar illumination. It has some engine that gives it additional heat. All of these signatures would raise a flag. And if it looks like it's technological, then there needs to be an organization that is international, because the aliens do not care how we split territories on this rock that we were born on. There is much more real estate out beyond Earth, and they would be completely amazed that we are worried.
They're like hippies. They don't believe in borders.
No, I mean, what we decide here on Earth is very local. We are obsessed with it. All our politics, geopolitics is all about territories, and they would think, who cares? This is a tiny rock out of billions of them out there. But so they would not distinguish us based on the nation that we belong to. So therefore, it will be a problem of humanity as a whole. And this organization needs to be international. So my recommendation is there should be an organization, because we are worried about existential threats from artificial intelligence. There is a lot of talk about it. From climate change, there is a lot of talk about it. From an asteroid impact, there is modest talk about that. But I'm saying another type of threat would be alien tech, okay? And there should be an organization that decides what to do. Why? Because when we imagine, in the context of Contact, the film or the book, if we imagine detecting a radio signal from a star that is thousands of light years away, there is no urgency. There is plenty of time, because it would take them a lot of time to reach us. Even if we respond, we have time to respond. There is no immediate threat. But if you have a visitor in your backyard, you immediately need to decide what to do about it. And that depends on the intent and the capabilities of the visitor and the specific characteristics of the visitor. And each visitor deserves special attention. So my point is, this organization, when, in the next decade, the Rubin Observatory will discover an interstellar object every few months. We're entering a new phase now. In the past, in the last 8 years, we discovered only 3. Okay, so now every 3 months, there will be a new one. And we need to develop a strategy of how to deal with things that are high on this lobe scale of risk, that are above 5, let's say. We need to develop a response to.
Well, if they're that close, then we really can't stop them from knowing that we're here if they don't already, like whoever it may be, because our radio signals are going to be fucking blasting that close to the solar system.
That, especially if it's close to 10, we need to decide how to deal with that. And
I mean, we can definitely start getting prepared and make a fucking plan, but like we're not going to stop. We're not going to be able to like hide.
We haven't thought about that. There is no such organization, and nobody discusses it.
You predict that within a generation, we will be able to conceive of, and that can mean a lot of different things, a small craft or a miniature satellite containing an advanced computer system with AI that stores the complete DNA information of all species existing on Earth as of 2022. This is likened to a modern day Noah's Ark. You're talking about an artificial intelligence fueled DNA catalog of.
Bro, I've totally seen anime that have that kind of storyline. I literally have seen an anime that has that story. It's called Moonfall or something, maybe. If that was
all species existing on Earth as of 2022. What would we do with this artificial intelligence Noah's Ark of DNA?
Well, that's different because for that you need someone to visit us and go there, and I'm not sure they have any motivation to search for it, but we spend our life replicating our DNA by having babies. I don't know, I have 2 daughters, and that's one approach to maintaining longevity. Another one is to write a book.
Either have sex and make babies or write a book. Those are the choices.
All of these are calculations for the short term because, in 7.6 billion years, the sun will, in fact, in 1 billion years, the sun will boil off all oceans on Earth. We need to go somewhere else. We need to go to space. And the question is how to maintain the longevity.
I like the way he thinks. Like, that's planning ahead right there, my dude.
Longevity of what we care about.
Yo, in 1 billion years, the oceans are going to boil off and we won't have any water. Let's start planning our move.
And first of all, you might want to record everything we care about. Now, Noah, in the biblical story, built an ark, okay, and put animals in it. I'm saying, forget about the animals. It's so much work to pack them into a spacecraft, and then would they survive? You need to feed them and so forth. Let's have just the information of life on Earth encoded and sent out so that if someone finds it, they can recreate. And, that someone could be a human that survived because, when Earth had a catastrophe, that human was wealthy enough to build a spacecraft and escape. But at least they will have the ability to reproduce what was demolished here on Earth somewhere else, But it could also be some other intelligent beings out there. If I ever met aliens, I would ask them 2 questions. The first one would be, what was there before the Big Bang? And that question relates to what we discussed before, because then we would have a recipe to make a universe. And the second question would be, where do you hold your social events? Where is the hub that I can meet others and socialize? Because, if you think about Darwin's theory of the fittest surviving, if you apply it to interstellar space, you're dealing not with millions of years of evolution on Earth, but you're dealing with catastrophes on many other planets where, the there was a population of intelligent beings like us, and their star erupted and killed them all, and there were tragedies that we are not aware of because we were not around to hear their cries for help. But I'm sure there is a lot to cosmic.
Hey, I put a poll up for you guys. I'd appreciate it if you take a moment to answer it. It's very easy.
History where a lot of tragedies of very intelligent beings, more intelligent than we are, that perished because of some catastrophe. A star exploded next to them, something bad happened, a big asteroid they didn't notice, something. And eventually the fittest survived. Somehow, a small minority of those civilizations managed to escape the hazardous environment that they were born in and live for. So I'm saying if we have that ambition of survival, it might make sense for us to go interstellar.
You mentioned that in 1.6
Yeah, make sure you guys take a moment to answer the poll. There's only 2 minutes. There's only like a minute and a half left.
billion years, the sun will boil off all the oceans and we will have to go somewhere else. But you dropped it very casually. Do you want to expand on that?
Yeah, so the sun is just a nuclear reactor, okay, a fusion reactor, and it has a limited amount of fuel, okay? So once it starts burning a significant fraction of the fuel, it will start dying. And within 1 billion years, it will become brighter, actually, to start with, and then it will boil off. The temperature on Earth will rise, and all the oceans will evaporate. The Earth will become a desert, just like Mars. Mars lost its oceans because it lost its atmosphere, but the Earth, in the distant future, will lose its oceans because of the sun getting brighter. And, when Elon Musk talks about saving humanity by going to Mars, I don't see that as a great vision, because Mars is just another rock nearby. So we go from one rock to another, just like if you are in the jungle, you go from one tree to another, and then it's a big success story. No, you just found another tree, so who cares? Like, the real advance of humanity was to go from those trees in Africa to a high rise in New York City or somewhere else, a big city. That's a big trend.
Okay. Thanks, Avi. I get it. I didn't get a lot of real technical detail. Spider the size of a bus on a remote island off of Mexico. What the fuck? The fuck is that thing? Holy shit. The fuck is that thing? Fuck me. God is pissed off. That's a brave motherfucker right there. Y'all see it here first. 2 weeks, y'all. Less than 2 weeks, actually.
Pay insufficient.
Half the internet goes down after Amazon cloud outage, leaving millions unable to use a billion different things.
Okay, so this is going to be our top 10. I'm really excited about it. It's been at least a year since I did my last top 10 UFO videos of all time, from 10 down to 1. If you follow the UAP files, you'll know that we get sent thousands of videos and photos every year from people that follow the UAP files to other ones where people have seen a case and gone, what do you think of this? I love digging into them. I love sort of speculating on what's prosaic and what isn't and what's true unknowns. And I think this collection of top 10 is really some of the best that's out there. And I think you'll be surprised with what's in the top 3 and certainly what's number 1, because it's different from the last time I did one of these, which was about a year ago. So without further ado,
let's fucking go, Jimmy.
Kicking us off at number 10 is
this is
taken by Pilot.
This is sick. right. I can give a little bit of insight because I'm sure he's gonna say it too. But like, This pilot's flying by. Right down here, you're gonna see an object come, and it comes and swoops up, and it's like silver and like one mold. You can see the bottom of it's got this kind of weird like arrow to hump to arrow size, and it just flies right by this motherfucker like effortlessly. This is like nothing that we have on Earth. Look at this shit.
Jorge Artiga while flying over Antigua in Colombia, November the 4th, 2015. Now, there are some variations of that date suggested online, but these seem to be the most original or official date.
Look at this shit.
Experts point out that the video is most likely real and not computer generated. According to the pilot, his Cessna plane was at 12,500 feet.
Look at that shit, just flying right by like that. What the fuck? And when you see it in real speed, that shit just goes fucking gone, bro.
When it passed an object that moved suddenly. Artiga says he found it strange. He turned the aircraft around and started filming with his iPhone. That's when the object moved towards the aircraft again. He said it seemed to have an oval shape and shined a lot. It changed speed and direction without any pattern. It didn't appear to be a balloon, nor a drone, nor an airplane.
Look at that shit.
It was totally different. That was Jorge Artiga, the pilot, in his words, verbatim.
Damn, that frame. Can I go back in frames with the button here? Oh, they don't do the same thing. That frame, like you get right before this one, the frame right before this one. Look at that. You can kind of see this. That's so fucking sick. Welcome back, Kyle. I've seen this video a bunch, but I've never really stopped it on this particular frame. You can see so much here. This is wild.
Verbatim. Next up is this cool footage of a UFO caught on volcano cam over Colima Volcano, Mexico. 12th of March, 2018, 7:29 p.m. local time.
They love volcanoes. I don't know about y'all, but over the last 40 years of my life, I've seen probably a dozen or more videos where they either fly into or out of the mouth of a volcano. So obviously they have some kind of shielding or bubble around them. These motherfuckers go into the ocean. They go straight into lava. They go into whatever. They don't give a fuck.
Credit for this one goes to Webcams de Mexico. The footage shows the object flying over the volcano, hanging around, and then shooting off at speed back the way it came.
Well, I'm sure that we've reverse engineered shit. Lockheed Martin and fucking Boeing and all of those companies. I'm sure BAE Systems. I'm sure they got their hands on some UFOs and they've re-engineered some of it, but a lot of this shit is not us.
This is not a camera artifact, not a conventional explanation that I can think of at all. Rumour has it that this webcam was set up due not to the volcano, but to capture the unusual activity witnessed around the site. And wow, we have seen a lot of footage clipped from people watching this footage in real time. We've featured several of the other videos captured from this webcam over the last few months on the UAP Files Instagram account, so go check that out. You'll see now, real time, this object shoot, top right hand corner of the screen, and out of shot. What could that be? What can do that?
Now we got to see the rest of this. What the fuck? Also, hold on. I want to go back because I wanted to see that new 3i Atlas. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to the actual YouTube video. I want to see the rest of this.
Okay, seen a case from no pain and started iPhone.
Quite possible, Kyle. Not opposed to it.
Was set the subject.
Now this personally, STS-75 is my favorite. I've actually gone onto the NASA website, gone into the back end of their digital files, and that's public. I didn't do anything illegal. And got all of the STS-75 files. I have this file directly from NASA. I have all of the fucking notes, all of the missions logs, all of everything that's public. This is personally my favorite, and I'm going to explain it to you because I don't know how well he's going to explain it. I mean, I'm sure he seems pretty well, he's pretty intelligent, but let me explain. So they had, it was a shuttle mission, and it was like 1994, 1996, like right between there. And they had a satellite on board that they were like a lot of times because the shuttle had this big bay in it. They had like satellites and shit in there where they would just release them out of the bay. That way they could, like, since they were already sending, that's how they did Hubble and all that shit, you know, since they were already sending the fucking the space shuttle up there, they could just put some shit in its storage bay and then have it, you know, push it out into fucking orbit, literally. But this time they wanted to test something new. They had a big tether, like a really long tether, right? And they were, what they were going to do is they had, you know, they had the space shuttle, and then it had the tether coming off of it with the satellite at the end, and they were going to let it use centrifugal force to fucking slingshot the satellite into an orbit. Well, when they were releasing the tether, there was like a malfunction. I don't know if it was our malfunction or if something made it malfunction, but there was a malfunction, and the tether snapped off of the ship and started floating out into space with the satellite on it, and it was just the tether kind of coiled up a little bit, but we knew exactly how long the tether was. As the tether floats out, the astronauts take the camera and look out to see it, and you can see hundreds of fucking ships flying by it. Hundreds of them. They're like circles with holes in the middle and a notch that transforms. They're not fucking visual artifacts because you can see them. Okay, you can see them fly behind the fucking tether. And people have done the math, and they say that some of these ships are like a mile to two wide. These aren't even tiny little ships. So I don't know if it, like, and another part of this conversation is a lot of people say that it wasn't actually a tether slingshot experiment. It was actually based on some of Tesla's science, and that what they were trying to do was use that tether as a way to use the Earth as a ground in order to pull energy out of the fucking, you know, vacuum, right? It was like it's supposed to be an energy experiment, and that tether is obviously fucking supercharged up with electromagnetic energy. I don't know if it, like, caused there to be kind of a breach in the way that, like, we can see the energy of the overlapped fucking dimensions or what, but, like, just watch what happens. There is no fucking explanation for this. It's not ice particles. Ice particles can't go behind an object that's fucking tens of miles away from you. I said enough.
In at number 8 is the NASA Tether Incident, Space Shuttle Columbia, STS-75 Flight Day 9, March 1st, 1996. Orbs in focus, directional change, in some cases putting the official claim of ice rocks in doubt. Many argue it's space debris or ice particles, but some objects
absolutely not
seem to change direction.
Ice particles don't change direction. Ice particles don't fucking pulse and fluctuate. Ice particles aren't miles wide objects going behind a tether that is miles away. Like, fuck that shit.
We've done some technical analysis on the footage.
This is my favorite UFO video of all time.
And the objects do change direction multiple.
Look at that motherfucker. Look at that motherfucker.
Times. You can even hear the confusion from the astronauts and NASA Base Command.
There seems to be some material that's flying with us, is what he says, the astronaut.
The original audio that accompanies the footage.
And there's a little bit of debris that kind of flies with us, and
a little bit of debris that kind of flies with us. Yeah, that's him saying, we don't know what the fuck's going on, and there's like 100 fucking UFOs off the port bow, sir. What the fuck?
It's illuminated by the sun.
You see that motherfucker blinging by?
At such low angle, so there's a lot of stray light, and it's getting washed out quickly. But Claude is trying to do a quick, good job.
Now this one is super fucking bright. It fucking floats behind the tether. It's not an ice particle, or else it would be like. If that was debris, those motherfuckers would be in danger of dying. Like, it'd be crazy. It's not like that. These are aliens that are checking out our tether. This was fucking 29 years ago, y'all. They've been here for a long time.
The long object was an experiment involving a 12-mile-long electrically conductive tether to generate electricity moving through Earth's magnetic field. The tether broke after it extended 12 miles and a satellite drifted away from the shuttle. Now, NASA said that this was likely ice particles. Do you think they seemed intelligently controlled? Some did to me. My friend and enhancement whiz Peter Osborne helped enhance these, and we made a whole podcast about it, joined by our friend Tom Vernon to talk it through. I'll drop a link in the description if you want to take.
Yeah, there are physicists who've actually reviewed all of the Like they've like critically frame by frame reviewed the way that they pulse, and David Sarita started to develop some ideas about how their propulsion system works due to the physics of the way that it was pulsing in these videos. Those are not fucking ice crystals, y'all. Those are UFOs 30 years ago, hundreds of them just chilling in our atmosphere. FYI.
Take a closer look at this case. In at number 7 is the Denby Lights UFO, filmed on January the 3rd, 2012. 3 a.m. in the morning, a giant saucer-shaped object captured on camera. The police were even called to the area to investigate.
My name's Nathan. I was watching TV, then I heard a bang. It was the bin, and I looked outside, and it was like big circles.
The two boys, Alex and Nathan Thomas, who filmed this, gave fascinating accounts at the time, and despite being clearly nervous and slightly uncomfortable being filmed, they came across incredibly credible and honest. The lights on the footage seem to show a saucer or disc shape tilted on its side. Attempts to debunk this include golf carts and a half-mile long electrical arcing. Very silly. I tracked Nathan down and interviewed him as an adult now, over a decade later, and his account hasn't changed. He believes it was non-human. Check that out. I'll link the video in the description where he talks through the case, the footage, and his experience as
I never heard about that one.
ridiculed when it came out. A great guy and one of the most popular videos on this channel.
No shit.
Some official footage now from the UK. In at number 6, the MPAS National Police Air
Cool boy, whoop whoop. Your people got some video. Hey.
Service flying disc, recorded on the 16th of September 2016 over the Bristol Channel in the UK. The full 8-minute video was released under Freedom of Information. Basically, the helicopter cops over the Bristol Channel tweeted part of the footage with a cheeky little alien emoji. They clarified that the clock was out by an hour, so it was pitch black at the time. This was never identified, and it's clearly saucer-shaped and pursued by British helicopter police. An awesome piece of official footage. The cops, obviously in true British style, treated it with humour, but were genuinely bemused.
Hey everybody, alien yesterday, don't worry about it. Get on you, mate.
This video, often referred to as the UFO that splits in two, recorded near Rafael Hernandez Airport, Aguadilla, Puerto Rico, was recorded on April the 25th, 2013 by thermal imaging cameras on board a US Customs and Border Protection aircraft. In the footage, we see the UFO split in two pieces, dip into the water. No known aircraft can do that. There has been a ton of back and forth online with debunkers and UAP researchers, and some scientific papers put out by the
Hey, what's up, Shark Tank? Welcome.
The DoD claimed this one is conventional, suggesting a Chinese lantern, but this is just a guess.
Yeah.
Limited data.
Yeah, a Chinese lantern traveling at like 100 kilometers an hour.
Speed, well worthy of our number 5 spot. Agree or disagree, it's certainly worthy of the top 10, and it's still being debated to this day.
Yeah, because we totally know natural objects can be flying at like 100 kilometers an hour, go into the ocean and come back out. Okay.
In at number 4 is this famous Nellis Air Force Base UFO from...
All right, story time. Nice story time. When I lived in Las Vegas in 2002, about May, June-ish or so, I was outside, and you know, Area 51 is northeast of Vegas. You know, so Vegas is here, Area 51. But from your guys' perspective, you know, it's up here, it's northeast, and our house faced north. So if I went straight and then looked to the right, that was Area 51 out that way, Nellis Air Force Base to the right of it. One day I walked outside about 5:30, 6 p.m., about half an hour before it got dark, and there was just a black triangle floating in the sky. It was just floating there. It floated there for about an hour or two as the sun went down. Me and my roommate looked at it. You know, I told him when I walked up to the front, like the way our house was shaped, there was like the front door, and then there was the garage that extends out. So I had to walk forward to where the garage ended, look to the right, and he was sitting back in a lawn chair next to the door, you know, like before the garage, you know, came to an end. And I told him, I'm like, hey, there's a black triangle floating in the sky. So he didn't even want to get up at first. He's like, you're bullshitting me, you know, blah, 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 blah. He walks over there and he looks up at it and he's like, I don't know, man, maybe it's an industrial kite. I'm like, there's a giant black triangle floating like 2,000 feet up in the air. Like, way, many miles away. I'm like, that's not a fucking kite, bro. Like, get fucked. Anyway, we watched it as it turned dark, and then after it turned dark, we watched it start to do maneuvers. And this motherfucker was like, and this is 23 years ago, right? This motherfucker was standing still, and it would just blast off and then stop again. So it would like fly through the air across the sky like thousands of miles an hour and then just stop. So I don't know. It was obviously something that we were testing, and I don't know exactly what it was. The TR3B, I think they call it. But I watched it fly. When our neighbors came home a little bit later, I was like, look at that telephone pole, and I look at that light over there, and I look about halfway in between them, and then because it was so dark, if you hadn't already been watching it and let your eyes change, there's no way you would see it, right? But we like kind of clued them in on how to find it in the sky, and when it was doing these maneuvers, and they saw it too. So there's about 4 or 5 of us that all saw it, watched it for hours doing maneuvers out there. And I don't know exactly what all. I think it's the TR3B, and I don't know everything about it. But one of two things is definitely true. Either A, they were either piloting it remotely. Well, there's a few issues. Swear to God, those dogs. There's a few issues. One of two things is true. Either they were piloting it remotely, or the way that the propulsion system works might be related to a reduction in mass, because for it to be able to move from standing still to that much momentum and velocity, and then to end its momentum and velocity, for it to be able to completely terminate its inertia without any kind of effect to the vehicle, first of all, means that it's made of something that we don't have commercial access to, because anything, even the most advanced metamaterials that we have, would absolutely like the vehicle would, like, I guess, move in the direction that you sent it, with that much velocity. If it didn't break apart as soon as it started moving that fast, it certainly would rip itself in half and rip itself to pieces as soon as it stopped, because nothing that we have, no metamaterials that we commercially know of, are able to withstand those kind of forces. Now, aside from the ship itself not being able to withstand the forces, if there was anybody inside the ship, they would be fucking liquefied, smashed up to pieces. Like, doesn't matter if you have a harness or not, you're just gonna get fucking, there would be a fucking seatbelt shaped multi-piece body of you, as soon as it stopped. So if it's not just being remotely flown and they have got some materials that can withstand these forces, great. If there are any chance of beings able to be inside of vehicles, and I think this is not just for the TR3B, but also for all the UFOs and shit that are traveling here interstellarly. My personal thoughts is that they figured out how to generate a field around a generator. And so they put the generator inside of their vehicle, whatever shape the vehicle is, and they generate the field around it. And what that field does is it reduces the mass of everything inside that field to next to zero. Because if you remember some of your calculations and whatnot, like, in order to go faster, you have to expend more energy per mass. It's velocity is energy time, the momentum energy times mass. And if you can't increase, and as you want to go the speed of light or faster, which is not thought to be possible technically, but definitely is, you either have to increase the energy or decrease the mass. So if you have the same amount of mass, if I have a cool born and I want to make a cool born go the speed of light, there's a certain amount of energy that as you want to go to the speed of light, it goes to infinite energy technically. But say I wanted to send you like 90% of the speed of light, warp fucking 5 or whatever. There's a certain amount of energy that I need. But if I could reduce your mass, if I cut both of your legs off, right, I would need half as much fucking energy. If you got cut in the middle of your body there and lost most of your weight, I mean, obviously you're well weighted. on the south side with the dong, so it might be a little bit more. But foregoing the technical specifics of the math, you would need less energy to get you to go that same speed. So what if you could have a field that created a bubble around you or your vehicle that then reduced the mass to 0.00000000001 grams? So what would happen is, if I take a pebble and I put it in my finger and I flick it, I can send it, 10, 15, 20 feet or whatever. Now, if I make that pebble weigh 0.000000001 grams, then when I use that same amount of energy, it has a much amplified thrust, right? So these vehicles probably have a field that is reducing their mass, which is reducing the amount of energy it takes for them to be able to do all this incredible shit. And it seems like whatever's inside that bubble is in a separate inertial reference frame than the universe around it, which is why they don't get smashed into pieces, which is why they can go into the water and the lava and the different things, because they're actually in some kind of field that is in like a separate inertial spatial reference frame than the universe around it. It's like its own gravity bubble thing. I don't know how the technical works out, but I know in my brain that the only way I can fucking quantify and justify what I've seen with my own eyes is that there's got to be something like that going on. That's just some theorizing,
1995, this clip was taken from the new show Hard Copy. This was described as a disc shape moving erratically and displaying rapid direction change. The debunkers suggest this is secret military tech at the time. However, in
welcome back
30 years, we haven't seen anything disc-shaped moving erratically with instant direction change. Recently, former military whistleblower Jason Sands appeared on the Joe Rogan podcast, and they pulled this footage up to look through it. And a cool point of note is the footage they used was from our Instagram account. Yes, the UAP files. That did get shared with everyone in my contacts list, I'm not going to lie. A proud day indeed. We even get audio from those viewing the footage, which adds that extra data point. They clearly have no idea what they're watching. This footage is particularly significant because it's a very clear outline of the craft, a significant location also in UFO lore being Nellis Air Force Base, so it's definitely worthy of our top 10. Big shout out to Joe Rogan and Young Jamie for choosing this video to bring up over others. That was a very cool day. I also interviewed Jason myself on the UAP Files podcast, and you can check out that video linked in the description.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA.
We're almost there. We're now into our last three. This is in at number 3, the gimbal, the famous footage, initially leaked, then formally declassified in 2017 and acknowledged by the Pentagon in 2020. The footage was actually taken on January 21st, 2015, captured by Navy pilots. There's no discernible wings or tail, rotating in mid-air.
I got a new poll up if you guys want to take a moment to answer that.
Air against strong winds, no visible means of propulsion. The infrared signatures emitting heat, but thermal characteristics differ from known aircraft. Arguments put forward by debunkers, but none of them stand up to scrutiny, and it's still one of, if not the clearest government official clips out there today, and worthy of our top 3.
That's not our LNS though, is it? It's not. That is the LNS, dude. Well, if there's like another thing, it's rotating.
Oh, this one, you can see.
In at number 2 was last year's number 1.
You can see the gray aliens right here on their little deck. Like they'll do it a little bit of image editing and they'll clear it up a little bit. You can actually see their fucking alien ass heads. You can see 2 of them fucking hanging out here on the bridge of their fucking UFO.
Hamburger's Turkey UFO, filmed from 2007 to 2009. As you can see from this footage where the cameraman zooms out to capture the moon, then you see both objects in the sky, and then he zooms back in to capture the craft. Debunkers and skeptics often say you never see him zoom in or out to prove it's outside. But in this video, from May 17th, 2009, you absolutely do. If you hear that old tripe again, point them to this video. The footage was filmed by Yalcin Yaman, who we tracked down and interviewed for his first ever long-form interview in over a decade. I'll link that video in the description if you want to check it out, and his interview with the translator and the enhancement put together by air image specialist Peter Osborne. Yeltsin recorded this footage from a beach in Camburgus. The footage has never been fully debunked, and in fact the only independent analysis done on this was by Professor Zeki Ika, the director of the Turkish National Observatory for Science and Technology, who said it was genuine.
Well, we can talk about that in a second, Coolborn.
Footage, not of a model, not a special effect, and the object is lit by moonlight. Just an incredible piece of footage, and there is just so much of it.
Look at that shit. Fucking look at that shit, yo. I've known about this one for a while. This is really classic on it. You can see their alien ass heads on the bridge. Look. You can see their fucking eyes. You can see their big ass fucking eyes because of the way their head's shaped. You can see it. There's 2 gray aliens on a fucking big ass ship just shooting the shit. Look at that shit. As far as it being us from the future, some of it could. I think you need. I think that statement that you just made is from a limitation of our current perspective. So we think that there is 3D space that we are going linearly through time in. But what's actually happening is that like everything is in 5D and everything has already happened. So they're just able to traverse the other dimensions of spatial and time planes that we cannot. That we are currently in a one-lane fucking one-way road, right? But that's not we're just on a one-way road. It's a road. There is also the everything else. I don't know. I mean, I wonder, there's got to be some, like, okay, put yourself in their shoes for a second. There's got to be some, like, ethical issues and constraints on how to interact with the other parts of the multiverse, right? Like, just because you can doesn't mean you should, and they can look and whatnot, but maybe they have some ethics about interfacing with it, you know? But I mean, I think that their presence alone, you know, is already quantum entangling shit. Like even if you don't want to be thinking about it like subjectively, just their physical presence alone is already quantum entangling all of the fucking shit that perceives it and everything that it's around, you know. Oh boy, what a topic.
He filmed many hours of the footage and it's all online to be analysed, and no one has managed to come up with a suitable debunk. I covered this in a Debunking the Debunkers video, linked in the description also. Yeltsin's story is wild and makes new predictions for the locations and the dates of new craft that will be sighted, which did happen. Check out his interview. And finally, in at number 1 is the Concorde UFO. The Concorde's maiden voyage flight from London, 1976. Although we cannot see nuts and bolts in this footage or a grey alien outline in the high-fidelity Camburgus footage, this one has cultural significance. The credibility of the national broadcast at the time and the Concorde aircraft's maiden flight from London showing that connection to UFO's long history of intrigue and investigation into our latest technology. This time,
Yeah. No shit, Coolborn. They're like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, it's always just super chill, and then every once in a while it's like, what the fuck? Why did we go to work today? It was Greg's fucking day to fly through the shit.
It was advanced, it was groundbreaking, and it was brand new. And right there, on camera, on a national advert of the Concorde, recorded by broadcasters who had no interest in UFOs.
They're like, well, these weapons are completely useless, but they look amazing.
During, prior, or since. They captured this object that moved in ways that defy conventional aircraft, clearly between the Concorde and the airplane capturing the footage. Too high to be an insect, too fast to be a bird, too coordinated to be a camera artifact, in my opinion. And the footage that stands the test.
Well, fuck yeah, that was them, because they saw us flying a Concorde, and they're like, what the fuck is this one? Look at that. Well, they've made a dart. Look at these motherfuckers. They got a nice supersonic. They were checking it out, obviously.
Test of time. Debunks have been lazy, and best guesses with NHI not even being a possibility. This is clearly an early orb capture on high-res camera broadcast to the world on a significant day for our technology progress. As if they were popping by to say hi. That's cool, but can you do this?
Yeah. Well, I don't think that they were trying to show off. They were just like taking a scan of it real quick. They're like, "Hey, they got a cool plane going on. Why don't you go down there and grab a fucking scan of that shit real quick?" And it just popped in, grabbed the scan, and left.
Yes. White orbs of light that have been seen time and time again around our aviation, air shows, and let's not forget.
Like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know what every other human being does with their fucking brain and how they feel about what's going on around here, but I take this shit for granted that that's what's going on. Like, I was even talking with AI about this album that I'm wanting to make, about how we're going to go. It's a 9-track album. The first 4 tracks are from like right now until Contact. Track number 5 is Contact, and then tracks 6, 7, 8, and 9 are what happens after. And it's all going to be a big story arc with fucking music videos and all that shit, to like be like an experience. And when I was talking to the AI about it, I was saying that, like, when I was trying to describe my understanding of the context of the world that we live in right now, I said, let's operate from the understanding that we are a lot further down the cyberpunk path than most people really understand. And that we've already got genetic editing and, AR and XR and all this shit all implemented, and AI all implemented. We're a lot further, like we are literally living in 2 different worlds right now. A lot of the world is still living in 2025, like the world that they think that they're in, which is still pretty cool. It's got a lot of neat stuff going on. But there's also like the real world, which is probably like fucking 15, 20 years ahead of that. And I just assume that we're operating, that the things that are happening are on that other reality, and that like that everyday consciousness that we think of with our fucking Walmart fucking regular, like what's on TV shows and movies kind of fucking representation of today, that fairy tale that we think we're in, that's a fucking joke. That shit is it's so much of a joke that like it's almost irrelevant. And that's just for real. I don't know where everybody else is at in their head, but we're a lot further along in all of this than everybody thinks.
Foo Fighters during World War II and Allied forces, a perfect number 1 in today's compilation.
Well, that was sick. That's good. Those are some really good ones. Thanks, Jimmy. That was sick. I appreciate that. I'm going to have to give them a thumbs up on that and say that was a great presentation, Jimmy and team. Hey, when people do a good job, take a moment to of your time to let them know that they did a good job. Okay. Also, more than 7 words. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Leave more than a 7-word comment. All right, let's go back to X or Reddit for now. But instead of the UFO Reddit, we're gonna go to if you go to the UFOs Reddit, which I'll post in chat real quick. What's nice about this particular Reddit is that when you go to the bottom right of it, there's this nice list of other related subreddits right here. And we've got aliens, disclosure party, experiencers, high strangeness, SETI, stabilized UFOs, UAP, UFO documentaries is a good one, and so on. Also, the big documentary that's got 34 fucking government representatives saying the aliens are a fucking thing and we have to deal with it, comes out on November 7th. The disclosure fucking documentary comes out on the November 7th. So we're we're like right at about 2 weeks away from the big fucking deal. But let's go to aliens and high strangeness. I like high strangeness because sometimes you get like cryptozoology and ghosts and shit, so Bigfoot and demons and stuff, which is kind of fun. But we'll check aliens first. Star map that Betty Hill drew after her alien abduction matches actual star locations discovered 10 years later. Huh. Ain't that something? What the fuck, man? I'm gonna go ahead and save that. Department of Defense video. Oh, okay. So these are a class of UFO that I understand, like I guess it's called, and there's also a subreddit for these UFOs in particular. These are called metapods because they seem like a flying standing pod that you could just kind of like cruise around in. They're called metapod UFOs. There's dozens and dozens of videos of these metapods. They go so fast. You could get on one and go from like London to New York in like less than an hour or whatever. They're fucking crazy fast. And some people are probably already using these. You know, in that other fucking reality that I was just talking about. Look at that shit. Huh.
You ever try to take a week off from the news because it's too much, and then you try to jump back in, and then you're like, I'm too far behind? Like, we have aliens. Did you know that? Like, the government has fully confirmed that there are aliens, and that's great. By the way, listen to the response that just got. Yeah. Like, it wasn't...
Let's hear it again.
That's great. By the way, that there are aliens, and that's great. By the way, listen to the response that just got. Yeah. Like, it wasn't even that much. It was just aliens. Isn't that it? Like, for 70 years, the government's been like, no aliens. No, remember Area 51, Roswell, all that stuff? They found UFOs, and they're like, no, we didn't find anything. And the reason they did that is because they didn't want, like, mass hysteria. They thought if they told us about the aliens, that we're going to, like, burn down City Hall and chaos would erupt. And now, years later, they told us, yeah, aliens are real. And we're just like, yeah, I could see that. It's almost like they waited for the news on Earth to be so insane that dropping that news, we're like, yeah, I don't know, maybe they can help. I don't know.
That's pretty much what everybody's saying, dude. Every time I start talking to people about it, they're like, can't do worse than we are, you know. I like this guy.
Maybe they can come down and give us a little wisdom.
Man, that guy's funny as shit. I need to know who that is. Hold on, who is this? Who the fuck is this? Who is this? There we go. Zoltan Kazas. Let us find his Utubio real quick. I don't want to not know that guy because I want to watch his shit later. That was funny as shit. There we go. Government shutdown. Perfect. Oh, it's only a 15-minute set. We might be able to do that. I am also a stand-up connoisseur, and I'd like to start, I like to start integrating all of the different, passions that I have into my content, right? So that's why we're doing aliens now. I've been to almost 200 stand-up comedy shows in person, and I've watched probably 1,000. I've studied. There's a website with tons of the entire scripts of them. I have a dream of potentially doing stand-up at one point. I don't know if I'll ever have the balls or the fucking mojo to try, but it is something that I dream about, and I might, we might watch like little bits or sets and like discuss those at some point too. If you guys like to laugh, does anybody here like to laugh? I like to laugh. Just saying. So let's just go ahead and pop that in there and go back to our aliens here. Yeah, giving an update. This is like the slow build up per episode in a series where the season finale wraps it up. What the fuck is going on here? Yeah, it is a little rough. NASA's down. Amazon's down. I wonder if that shit's all fixed yet. Let's see if Suno's back up yet. Hey, we're back. I think the internet works again. Maybe.